It's time for drama. Sam Seder taking on Nomiki Konst. Or is Sam Seder not going to do it? I don't know because I haven't watched it. But I'm putting this title as a debate. So if it's true, good. Hopefully I'm right and I predicted it. If not, oh well. All right, be right back. I'm listening.
I haven't said anything about it really since, I don't know, the day after, whatever, the Friday that Nomi announced on the show. I did not do my due diligence in assessing this race that I think was probably warranted insofar as, like, I don't generally cover state Senate races. And certainly if this race was taking place in California and I didn't know any of the people beyond, I mean, I had never heard of Kristen Gonzalez before. And if I had known, Betty Smith running against, Kristen Gonzalez in California's, I don't know, whatever it is, 230th Senate district, however they have there, how many they have there. My default would be to simply go with the institutional left and who they're supporting without any assessment of the race, because I don't have time to go through every state Senate race. In this instance, in a million years, I wouldn't have endorsed any candidate in Senate 59 unless one of them happened to be someone who was a regular on our show. I was under the impression at the time that the endorsements were specific to the earlier districts. And so it never occurred to me not to endorse Nomi. I haven't talked about it since because basically at this point, it's not, we announced her on the show. And frankly, both candidates probably raised more off of Nomi's appearance on the show than they would have in any other single day or two or period. My understanding is Kristen went on to another show that she probably would have never ended up on, and used our show as a fundraising thing. So I feel like I've raised more money for both candidates than probably any other single individual by the decisions that we made. I mean, I think that's just
a super bundler.
I think that's just the God's honest truth. And I don't live in the district. I don't know that I would have made the decision that Nomi is making, but frankly, I still don't have all the facts. And I've tried. I've had, I have read everything that people have sent me on both sides. Generally, I would just simply defer to where the institutional support from the left is. That would be the DSA and the Working Families Party. I don't have to vote in that district, so I have to make that decision. As far as what I would tell people to do, I don't think that there's anybody, at least who hears my voice, who lives in that district, who hasn't already made up their mind about it. So I don't need to tell anybody what to do. They can figure it out on their own. I think the thing for me that I want to say right off the bat is that I like Nomiki, but she's from Arizona, okay? She's from Arizona. She moved to New York, which you're totally free to do. I don't believe that carpetbagging is a real thing unless you move to a place to run. If you immigrate somewhere and you live there as a part of the community, you have absolutely every right to run. People have the right to say you've only been here a year or two, but you have every absolute right to run. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. If you don't live in a fucking community, you shouldn't be able to run for the seat. Dr. Oz is a perfect example. I just think that when you have a situation, the context that Sam is leaving out in this race is that there is a well-funded corporatist right-wing candidate who is the cousin of the man that AOC unseated, Joseph Crowley, or the niece or something like that.
So you have a close relative of somebody who is not only not agree with us on politics, but is actively anti-progressive because they recognize the threat to them and their political family. All right. So that's a moment where you need to drop the fuck out to defeat the anti-leftist. It's not just some lib who doesn't go far enough. It's an active person who despises and wants to destroy the left. There is no fucking allying with that. There is no fucking pussyfooting around. There is no splitting the vote. And truthfully, if I knew that my opponent, I don't care where the district lines change. I don't care about that. District lines change, new district, whatever. If you know my opponent already got a in-cycle fucking endorsement from DSA and AOC, they're gonna get it again. And with all due respect to Nomiki, she doesn't have the standing in those organizations, doesn't have the relationships necessary to overturn that apple cart. Run in a different district. Run for a different position. Bide your time. If you decide you're gonna say fuck you to all those organizations, well, guess what? They're going to say, fuck you right on back. And you can't complain. That's the game, man. And maybe if Nomiki pulls off the miracle and wins, she will do the magnanimous thing and go back to those organizations and make nice and say, let bygones be bygones. And I will 100% support her in the Senate. But you can't tell me, oh, it's not fair. Those organizations didn't listen to me, blah, blah, blah. Fair? What do you think this is? What do you think this is? Go fish? This is politics. You didn't set the board the right way. That's part of your own failing. So there's no question who you should vote for. It is not the person who's opposed to AOC and DSA. Why are you going soft on North Korea after or at Nomiki Konst, especially after BS Bernie Bro attacks? Did I sound like I'm going soft? I think I'm going very hard. I think I'm going very hard to a personal friend. It's literally worse than Warren not dropping out because everyone's already lined up beyond Gonzalez. Well, then if that's the case, there's nothing to worry about. Nomiki's not going to get shit votes. The Sam Seder show has become bottom of the barrel, dipshit, lib, anti-left propaganda. Do you have an example? Because I haven't seen a single example of that. How easy.
I don't have a sense of whether Nomi is necessarily going to be a spoiler.
Thank you, Meg
I don't have a
PZ, for
sense
35 months.
Kristen came in with that much where it was that obvious that she was going to win in the absence of a Nomi candidacy. There are 5 people running in the race. Me personally, I don't know that I would make the decision that Nomi is making here. But I also, to be fair, I don't know what's happening in the district. I really don't. I know.
So I think Sam is doing a cop-out here, and let me just say this. Her instincts are off, man. And as a friend, you should talk to her behind the scenes and be like, this is damaging your reputation. It's damaging the value of your career. Like, it's hurting her career, too. That's the other thing. It's hurting her career as a commentator. Like, she was always a long shot in this race. Sorry to say, but she was a long shot. But now, you know, this is stuff that you can't get back.
What's happening in terms of, like, you know, like I say, the institutional support, but I don't know what that means on the ground. I don't know. I've seen the fundraising numbers, but I haven't seen it broken down as to where that money was raised in terms of, like, which district it was. You know, New York City is a big city, and there was 2 different districts. I can't tell because I'm not going to go through with all the zip codes. I don't feel like I need to. And as far as, like, you know, the online element of this, it seems to me largely irrelevant. I think anybody who watches this show at this point, and like I say, is voting in that district, know who they're going to vote for. And I've got, you know, stuff from both sides, emails that don't reflect terribly well on either candidate.
You've actually broken my video. You broke my video at that website.
I haven't said anything about it, you know, stuff from both sides, emails that don't reflect terribly well on either candidate. But I would still take either one of them over a centrist Democrat
Like Crowley.
And
be skeptical of Crowley using any
Sir, thank you
rhetoric
for the prime.
to her advantage. I mean, Crowley's a big problem. We have to defeat
I don't
Crowley.
know.
And I think
honestly,
Kristen Gonzalez is the best candidate for that.
I think much of that is just about fundraising. And
all right, this is where I think that I have something to share that's probably a little bit more on point than Sam does here, which is, as somebody who has run state legislative races, including state Senate races, which are, consider a state Senate seat to be like half of what a congressional race is. It's not a joke. We're talking about $1 million. We're talking about $2 million. We're talking about hundreds of volunteers. We're talking about tens of thousands of votes, right? This is some serious shit. This is really important for the state Senate of fucking New York State. This is really important shit. This is not just some minor race. All right. I tell you right now, if you're on the left and you don't have organizational support, you're a kook. You're gonna get single-digit votes at best. And I'll be honest with you, unless Nomiki is raking in hundreds of thousands of dollars, I haven't seen their fundraising report, and she's spending a lot on TV and direct mail, she's got no shot. She won't break 10%.
And so I don't know. I really don't have a sense of how much people in the district are watching online stuff to get their cues.
They're not. They're not. But the institutional left are where the door knockers are, where the volunteers are, where the community support is. Crowley's going to have the high end. She's going to have the airwaves. She's going to have the Democratic Party machine support. Whereas Nomiki is caught out on her own in an island. She has no shot. The most she could do is drain away support from the actual left-wing candidate. She's pulling an Elizabeth Warren. It's just that simple. Like, that's what it is. What happened that's so completely embarrassed the majority report? Basically, Nomiki announced her run for a state Senate seat in New York, and sight unseen, her coworkers endorsed her for the race. And then they found out that in the race, there is a Latina woman running who had the support of AOC and the Working Families Party and the DSA. And they're caught with egg on their face because Nomiki is running kind of an Elizabeth Warren style spoiler campaign when there's a third candidate who is a right-wing centrist corporate Dem.
So we'll see. But there's really, to the extent that people felt like I participated too much in this election by having, allowing Nomi to announce on this show and endorsing her at that point. Like, all I can tell you is there's no doubt in my mind that Kristen raised money off of Nomi's appearance on the show. I don't see a lot of other attention paid to a lot of the other Senate races, the Senate races in New York. And
hey, David Alexis, the one I just talked about at Left Reckoning last Friday. Check that out.
Okay, so there you go. And so that's it. Haven't had either person back on the show. I haven't talked about it. I don't intend to talk about it again. That's it.
Yes.
All right. Let's go to the good stuff. Oh, wait a second. Should we take phone calls? I'll take phone calls soon.
Okay. It's kind of a longer video,
Francis.
the Greenwald one. So
between the 101 and the 5, Nomi's candidacy could theoretically pull votes away from Crowley. I mean, if you're looking online, it seems much more likely at this point that, supporters of Kristen and Nomi seem pretty hardened. And
I mean, if that was the case, that'd be very interesting to know if Nomiki hurts Crowley more by entering the race.
The thing is, I don't know. I haven't seen any polling. I don't know that there is any polling. Who's going to spend money polling that the Democratic primary for a state Senate seat?
No, but I do know that articles about it in the city are identifying her as a progressive socialist candidate. So that if the race is not online, then that's the identifier, and that's more likely to pull votes from Gonzalez than it is from Crowley.
It's possible. I mean, it's possible. But I mean,
I can tell you straight up that a single newspaper saying blah blah about blah gets you dick votes. Doesn't fucking matter. To get someone's attention and their vote, you have to blare in their face with a fucking bullhorn. You read a bunch of those dipshits at a fucking focus group. Those messages they were repeating have been shouted at them for months and months and months. Just going, I was in the newspaper as a socialist. It'll get you dick all votes. Be lucky to get 10 votes.
It's not a decision that I would have necessarily made. Just based upon what I can see from 10,000 feet, which is all that I can see at this point. And, but I also, I understand the argument that, primary is supposed to be primary. And a lot of the people who are basically saying, advocating for open primaries are also sort of saying, but you can't have two people in the same lane. I mean, so
Sam, you would be against the left-wing third-party challenge in the general for exactly the same reason. If left-wing voters only have one progressive choice, they're more likely to concentrate their vote and win a plurality. It's just math, Sam. Don't think you can yell at people and vote chain for them voting green, but then say it's fine to have a bunch of people running as progressives in a first past the post primary. You can't have it both ways, man. You can't have it both ways. That's a contradiction.
I don't know, but it is what it is.
All right. Well, I think that that the other people, Matt Leck, Emma, they're right in trashing Nomiki's race. This is all I see about fundraising in her district. Okay, I think these are old reports, so we don't have anything. I don't think they've had to report anything yet. Are you watching the stream unsubbed? You're making income inequality worse. You are doing anti-praxis. We are the only Twitch stream that will not accept scam advertisers, and I will never fuck you over by selling you crap.